Memphis, OKC, Minnesota, the Warriors, the Grizz, the Raptors, the Knicks, the Pels, the Rockets. So you got about a good 8-game stretch there where there's no gimmies. Up until the middle of March, there's really no gimmies. So this is like the worst time for a team that needs to get hot. It needs to make up ground. This is a rough stretch because the only thing you could say is that at least if they get a win against OKC, that's a team that's currently behind them. If they get a win against the Timberwolves, the Warriors, at least those are teams that are in front of them as well as the Pels. So it's almost like, and the Warriors as well. But so those 4 games are probably the most important. You can lose these games to the Grizz, in my opinion. You can lose these games to the Grizz. You can even lose these games to the Raptors and even Knicks tape. But it's these games against OKC, the Timberwolves, the Warriors, and the Pels. Those are more important because those are the teams that are directly ahead of you, and you need to get some dubs against to give them some losses so you could crawl back and crawl up the standings. Because at one point, and I think even Darvin Ham mentioned it, he was trying to avoid the play-in. And it would have took them having a good 2 weeks of winning 8 out of 10 and so on and so forth for them to probably get into that mix because there's only 3 games in the loss column separating them from the 4 seed. So I think this is like the worst. This is the worst timing to have LeBron get hurt because of the schedule. Now, when he comes back, let's say he comes back mid-March. Dallas, Orlando, Phoenix, OKC, home and home with the Bulls, Timberwolves. Yeah, you kind of need him. When he comes back, I think they could go on a run here where they have Orlando, OKC, home and home with the Bulls, the Timberwolves, the Rockets again, the Jazz again. Now, this is a rough way to end up. Clippers and Phoenix, you would assume those games will mean something, whether in regards to seeding or maybe teams wanting to make sure that, the Lakers should have to be in that play-in. Maybe Kawhi and PG play to make sure, no, we don't want them getting up to 6. Keep their ass in the play-in. That's going to be something if what we have here in regards to Phoenix and the Clippers, and then you sandwich in the Jazz. This is a really weird sandwich. You come off, you're assuming an easy dub against the Rockets, and then you have the Jazz in Utah. Come home, even though it's a road game. Play the Clippers, and then you have Phoenix and then Utah at the crib. It's rough, man. Bad timing. Absolutely horrific timing. And we talked about it briefly yesterday. When will this LeBron thing, in regards to him being hurt, when will we start to, I know we like to say, he's 38 years old, but there's also the narrative of he's indestructible. Look at the way that he has kept up, over the bulk of his career. And we kind of went through this yesterday. He hasn't been that indestructible as a Laker. 55, 67, 45, 56, 47 games. And with him missing an indefinite amount of time, you would think he'll probably barely crack 60 games again. So as indestructible as we like to say he is, and how can he perform at this level at this age? Has he though? Because 55 games. And look, we know the bubble year. We see it. But 56 games last year, it's hasn't been as easy as you would think for LeBron. It hasn't been as easy as you would think. And he's not as indestructible as you would think. Since he turned 34, he hasn't sniffed 70 games. But, the narrative exists, the narrative continues. So in regards to LeBron being out, Anthony Davis, it's your time. Anthony Davis, it's your time. Anthony Marshawn Davis, as you see here, it's your time. And as much as he's been called street clothes, he's been mocked, he's been, chastised greatly throughout his career. Now is a time where you could put this team, this organization, this fan base on your back and let them know who you are. This is that time if you're Anthony Davis. This is the time where you can, and again, second half against Dallas, if he's that, I like the Lakers' chances. He was a terror defensively, an absolute terror. He was a terror defensively. If he can get that off to where he's being that aggressive, and not only just getting shots in the paint, but also being fouled, being able to draw contact and go to the free throw line where he's a top tier, top tier big in regards to free throw shooting. He's 80+%. When he's doing that, 30 pieces, I don't know if y'all bet or not, but points, rebounds, assists, it might be time to hit those overs for AD. It might be time because he's going to have to do everything. Who's the number 2 option right now? Who's the number 2 option? With no Bron and you have AD and D'Lo is day-to-day, who is the number 2 option? Can Malik Beasley get his own shot? We about to find out. We know Rui can, so I think the natural thing is for Rui to slide in there, but I don't know if that's been announced yet. I don't know if we have any, let's see. I'll look this up here as I'm talking, but I would love to know if Darvin Ham has said who's going to start, because that will kind of tell you what he's thinking. Breaking news, LaMelo Ball to miss the rest of the season. If you saw the injury last night, that's not that shocking. Broke his ankle trying to cross somebody up. Very sad to see, but LaMelo Ball out for the year. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA. We're getting some breaking news here. A lot of stuff is happening. So SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has entered health and safety protocol. So still running around on that Rona. Not sure where that's going to go. But nothing yet in regards to the Lake Show. I'm searching some of the Lakers Twitter, the Laker people that I follow, and I'm not seeing anything for regards to a lineup for the Lake Show for tonight against Memphis. But the early word is LeBron will be sidelined multiple weeks. So that brings us to that midweek margin that we spoke about just a few minutes ago. So that midweek margin, that midweek standpoint where if they can get to middle of March and win those 4 games against the teams that are directly ahead of them and not worry about the rest, I think they can at least hold water and still chip away. But that's a brutal stretch. That's a brutal time for LeBron to be out.